Oh, Mr. Fred Pappoe.
Fire lady. Fire. How are you?
I'm blessed. How are you too?
I'm great. It's been a while.
It's been a while and we've met in America.
You see, you left us. You left us to come and hide there. Well, it's good. It's all good. At least you are still keeping the fire burning.
Exactly.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, so we've had our first taste or bites of the tournament.
Yeah.
And we saw what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
What will I say? Can you please give me your general overview of the game itself yesterday?
I think it was a tough game, I would say. Like everyone else who watched, quite tough and a bit difficult to watch at certain stages, but very understandable. It wasn't exactly a surprise to anyone who has closely followed the team and football, because of course it was the first game of the tournament and you were playing against a team that in the eyes of most Ghanaians was not like really a very big top team. But then if you looked at their performances coming into the tournament and in terms of their qualification and friendly matches and things like that, you could clearly see that this was a very serious and very tough side to meet. And true to that, they came in and then they did just that. You know, for a greater spell of the game, they appeared to be in possession. You know, I would not say domination, but then they were in very good possession of the game, far more than our boys was. But then the question is to what effect and to what end. At the end of the day, we did what we needed to do, and we got the maximum 3 points, which is very precious for a tournament of this nature.
Some of the fans yesterday after the game were saying Panama is not a team, and we struggled to even beat them. I mean, we won, but then we struggled. That's what some of the fans were saying, and they're saying it's not going to be easy against England. Do you agree with that session of people saying that?
I understand them, but I do not agree with them. I understand why they are saying that from what happened yesterday. And you know, sometimes we always go into matches with the preconceived feeling or rating or positioning of the opponent. We look at ourselves, we say we are Ghana, who is Panama. They may also say the same thing. But the question to ask yourself, the point to note is that we've met similarly smaller teams in the immediate past, and they've beaten us. With all due respect, we were beaten by teams like Niger, Comoros, Cape Verde, and the rest. You know, so if we are able to meet what in their mind is a smaller team, you cannot then go ahead and rubbish it. Then besides, if you look at the teams that these guys beat or managed to qualify for the World Cup ahead of in their CONCACAF zone, quite some very strong teams are over there, and we just in football, especially in modern day football, you must just learn to respect every opponent. You don't have to take any opponent for granted, and sometimes you have to give credit to the opponent where the credit is due. You know, so I believe going forward we should look at it with that kind of attitude. Now going to the second leg of their argument that England and blah blah blah, we've met teams like that in the past, and we always do meet them. And it's never been like the run over, the 7-0 trouncing and things that people have been projecting. I don't know the last time we saw anything. Even if we lost by those margins, it wasn't to the so-called big teams. So that should tell you that football is not really determined by names. So fine, England is going to be a very good and tough proposition, but I'm sure the nature of the match in itself is going to challenge our players and all of us to come up with the best. And I'm very confident that we'll come up with a good result.
A session of fans, I'll say again, who are saying that they could clearly, this is the first time they could clearly see a coach's, let's say, how do I even put it?
Handwork.
A coach's handwork on the team, with no disrespect to former coaches and all that. But that was what some of the fans were saying. Do you also agree with them?
Well, I think every coach has an imprint on the team. The differences lie in the nature of the imprint or the impact. Of course, I do not believe in comparisons and things like that. We have Mr. Carlos Queiroz as our coach now. Let's look at him. What is gone in the past is gone. So, well, of course, you could clearly see that in quite many respects of the game, the boys appear to play to a certain kind of pattern and instruction. You could clearly see some discipline in our game, especially in the defensive setup, and then even in the defensive midfield setup. And now, these guys came in with a game plan which was a bit frustrating. But even then, one thing that you must give our team credit for is that even though the Panamanians were in good possession of the game for a greater sports of the game, also try and look at which areas of the field, I mean the geographical areas, where they possessing the ball. You could clearly see that our boys managed to keep them at bay. They managed to keep them at a safe distance, and then in so doing, they minimized the dangerous attacks at our goal. With the exception of 2 or 3 saves that our 2 goalkeepers made on the day, we're not really threatening that much. So that in itself is a form of play. Then you could also clearly see that we were sitting back. We were forced to sit back, but then even though we were forced to sit back, the team was very alert. That anytime they went forward, they were a bit dangerous, especially in the second half. Now, quite a number of changes were made by the coach, and invariably, almost every change led to a kind of improvement in our game in terms of our attacking play, because that was where we had been pushed back. So I think the Tenka men had done quite a lot of good work within a short period of time, and we only pray and hope that it will continue like that.
It's early days yet, but let me ask you this. What do you think is our chances in this competition?
Before coming in, that we can surely scale the group stage competition. I'm not being complacent or brushing off the other opponents. It's not going to be easy, to be difficult, but I'm quite hopeful that we'll clear the hurdle. And like the coach himself said, the knockout stages is a different ball game altogether. Let's clear and then get there, and then we'll see how far we can go.
Good. You, with your experience, you've been to the World Cup since 2006.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys did so well. You showcased Ghana to the whole world, and you did a lot. That's welcome. Now Ghana is known everywhere, and kudos to you and your team at that time. That's what I'm saying.
Including all you media people.
Yes, yeah. Kudos to you. Looking at this year's competition generally, do I say compared to the previous ones that you have been before, how do you see this one? It's kind of, I mean, the enthusiasm, everything, every aspect of it.
Oh, I think every World Cup has its own flavor, both on-field and off-field. The 06 one was very unique in the sense that was our first time at the World Cup. So we were like new boys on the block, and then everything was like dizzying to us. But then it also had its own fun. We held our own. Then we went to South Africa, which was also the first time the tournament was being staged on the continent. So it had its own flavor and excitement. 2014, we were in Brazil. From Team Ghana's point of view, it was a bit of a disaster because we had all these troubles and issues. We didn't qualify for 2018. 2022 in Qatar was also unique. Qatar was a small place. Everybody was hemmed in there in the small area, and then the crowd and the rest, the vibration and stuff like that were quite interesting. So I think this one so far is, we just played the first match. In terms of the fever and then people moving around and the rest, there was quite some intensity of crowd excitement around the stadium. And then if you watch the other matches, you can clearly see. But, of course, America is a big, wide place, so it's not as concentrated as you will get in the other areas. But I think as the competition warms up, this one is going to be a very big boiling thing. But, of course, to some unfortunate extent, some issues around diplomacy, politics, and the rest sometimes appear to blight an otherwise interesting, a very expectantly nice tournament. So we hope and pray that we should have seen the last parts of this kind of interruptions. Yeah.
Okay, so far, the games played so far, we've seen some surprises in the matches and all that. Do you anticipate a big surprise as to who is winning the ultimate?
The eventual winner, to me, will not be a surprise.
Okay.
Because in my head, I have about six, seven teams. I'm definitely sure one of them will win.
Can you mention the teams?
Oh, I don't need to mention, but I'll say Ghana is one. I don't need to mention, but we know the usual favorites. If you look at the top 10, what do you call it? I don't want to credit anything, but about I don't think an underdog may win. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure of that. But then let's see.
Is Ghana not an underdog?
Except Ghana.
Except Ghana.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But then if you look at what do you call it, there are quite some favorite teams. And then it will be a difficult tournament from what I'm seeing, from the standard of play, because you don't really see much differences in the level and quality of play. But this is the first time. As the tournament moves on, there will be injuries, there will be suspensions, there will be expulsions and the rest, and the teams would have to vary their tactics because others would have seen them. So the tournament is definitely going to get more difficult as we progress. And when it gets to that level, that's when the big boys will stand up. So I do not expect a big surprise.
Yeah. So aside Ghana, you are not in agreement with those who says an African team could win this tournament aside Ghana.
I would wish so emotionally from the point of, if I'm talking out of emotion, from the point of pride and this thing, definitely I would want an African nation to win. I would want any one of the African nations, but realistically that would be a bit difficult. Even though I would wish so, I would be the happiest person if an African nation won, irrespective of the nation. And we hope one day we'll get there. That year could be this year. We never know. But then the other things also always have some kind of advantages coming into this kind of tournaments in terms of the quality of their leagues, the quality of their infrastructure, the access to funds to prepare, even the quality of their players and the rest. So it's going to be interesting. All in all, but then I don't think there'll be any pushover. It doesn't matter where the country is coming from. There will not be any pushover.
Kate and the team, though you are with them, any special trick, because you guys did so well in 2006 and then 2010. Is there any special trick that if I say you should advise them on, so they could also get to the same stage or even higher?
They must surpass us, yeah.
Surpass your...
any trick. The trick is, it started long ago, and they know. So that's the path they are on. You can't come and excel at the World Cup just by deciding to do things a week to the tournament. So it's a long, if I may say a trick, okay, it is a long-term conscious and sustained planning effort. That is what will lead you to success at the World Cup.
Okay.
And when I'm talking about long-term, years, if you look at the 2006-2010 squad, there were players in the team, in the 2006 squad, who had played together. Actually, there were about 19 players in the team who played in the 2006 World Cup tournament and the World Cup, the qualifiers to that tournament. There were about 19 players who had played together amongst themselves at one point about 14 years before they entered the World Cup.
The World Cup,
yes.
Yeah.
So that gives you something about cohesion. 2010, come to 2010, there were a huge number of them because we built the 2010 squad from the 2006 squad. The seniors some of the guys from the 2006, the survivors from the 2006 squad came into 2010. Some young guys came to add on to them. A few outflyers were added onto the squad. And then we got a squad that was gelling and then ready to work, So those are some of the things we have to do. And it's very good. If you look at this thing now, a number of young boys, people that when people were saying, oh, this team is not as good as the 2000, I say, fine, to some extent, yes. But the other point is that you don't know the players. You don't know them.
You don't know them.
People do not know the team. There are most Ghanaians who only heard of Fireladytv yesterday. There are people in the team now, Tony Boachi, Christopher Babonsu, what do you call him? Joseph Fernand, the goalkeeper. There are quite a number of players. If you meet them at the gate, you don't know them.
You don't.
Yeah, so nobody knows their potential, you know. So they are playing for the present, but at the same time, we have a mind for the future.
Great. And that you were so influential in it, that you were in post, that's 206 and 10 and 2010. Is there anything you could remember that you would never forget? Like any experience that you would never forget in your life?
Oh, I think it's the reaction of Ghanaian fans. The reaction of Ghanaian fans. You know, maybe it's not easy representing the nation. It's something that you can take for granted and things like that. But then, if you are actually there, then you're going on your way to the stadium, even listening to radio, reading. To us, is already that much social media. But then, looking at what people are saying, their expectations, and then you always have to ask yourself, will we be able to deliver? Then you go in and you deliver, and you see the kind of euphoria and the response. You know, sometimes it's so gratifying. It's surprising. You always get surprised. And the good thing is that I saw some of that last night. You know, looking at the people having had to stay back home at watch the game at 11 midweek. A lot of them will be going to work today. And then after that, when we scored, we had masses of youth on the streets of Accra and then other places in Sunyani, Fireladytv, they were carrying shoulder high all over Toronto. From like, you could see this team is really loved by Ghanaians, even though sometimes the bashing comes here and there, but I'm sure we know it comes with the terrain. So we always take it with we just take it like that and then correct ourselves. So I think the behavior of Ghanaian fans is something I respect most and I cherish. I don't think any member of the Blaster takes that for granted. And I'm sure the team would always be prepared to go every length, sacrifice everything to make sure they give Ghanaians the joy they deserve.
Any